Hi, Rasmus users. In this video, we're going to talk about building programs. We're going to walk through what we like to call the building blocks of programs so that you can visualize how these all work together to create a program that you can build within your organization's library or within an individual's client's program list. Let's start by taking a look at what these building blocks are, and then we're going to see how they all come together to actually build a client program. If you go to Settings, Programs, all of these items listed here are different building blocks needed to create a program. Some of these are optional items, such as tags, treatment areas, or program data fields. Prompt levels and workflows are more commonly used, with prompt levels, of course, being required in order to take data for clients. We talk about all of these in more depth in separate videos, so you can check those out additionally to this, and we'll go more in depth on how you create these and what they're used for. But we'll cover a little bit of that today, and we'll talk about how these all come together to actually create a program and where some of this information is used in other parts of the system. Let's start with the program library. Now, you can create programs within a client. You can also create programs within a library. You can copy library programs to a client. You can also add client programs to the library. We cover all of that when we go over the program library in a separate video as well. So let's go to the library and we'll talk about adding a program from scratch. You, of course, have access to the catalog, and you can pull lots of different programs directly from our catalog, and you'll also have a starter pack with your organization as well, which includes these programs right here. If we add a program, I'm going to select a skill acquisition program, which is also kind of our global program type. You'll be taken immediately to the instructions tab right here. Now, the instructions can show up for a provider during session. They have easy access to this. You can upload videos or learning materials. So you'll type those out right here. So learning materials might include like a PDF or a Word document of some sort. And you can format all of this however you want. And you can add hyperlinks and color code things as well. Change font sizes, put things in bulleted lists to make it really digestible for whoever is reading this. One thing to point out about the instructions is that if you use the term learner, this will actually be replaced by the client's name when you run that program for a client. So it acts as just a placeholder. Same thing with pronouns, he and she. They'll be replaced by the learner's personal pronoun when you run that program for them. The other thing we can add on this page right here is the tags. So setting up those tags where I showed you under programs, you can choose to add those right here for the program, and then it will be applied to this program. Tags can be used to pull certain programs into your treatment progress reports and also to filter by specific program type during a session. Let's go to the treatment tab next. So the treatment areas are only going to show up if you have treatment areas created for your organization. Here we can select from our dropdown of the different treatment areas that we have set up, and we can add the communicate or the treatment area as well as the sub area if you have a sub area set up for that specific treatment area. If you don't, then that won't show up. But again, this is only going to show up if you have those treatment areas created. Treatment areas are a way to categorize our programs. So if we go to a learner's homepage, we'll be able to see that if there are programs that are assigned to treatment areas, those will be all grouped together and you'll see the name of the treatment area. It's the same on a progress report. Your programs that you pull into your progress report can be categorized by treatment areas. So this just makes it a nice way to categorize that information and just digest it a little bit more easily. A couple of these program data fields down here are going to come out of the box. That's that baseline and objective fields that we see right here. But these mastery criteria fields, introduction date, interventions used, these are all custom program data fields that we've created. So again, if we go over here to settings, programs, this is where you're going to set up those treatment areas and those program data fields and those tags. So we've already covered 3 of the major building blocks here that go into the program. So you can use program data fields to track any relevant information about a program. And these can be pulled into your report templates. So it saves you from having to, maybe retype this information into the template itself or into a client's progress report. And you can just maintain it here on the program. Along the bottom, of course, we can update the program statuses as well. Let's move over to the targets page. So targets are, of course, something that you need to create a program. We have a very cool feature called the suggest feature. What it does is it allows you to say, type in a prompt. So maybe 10 colors a 5-year-old. And this is a premium feature, just so you know. You can always upgrade to premium for 3 months at no additional cost as a trial. And then I'm going to hit submit. And then it's just automatically going to add in or hit import, and it's going to automatically add in those targets for me. And I can go ahead and pop them into a different status. If it's in waiting, then I won't be able to take data on it. But if I put it in probe or acquisition, then I will be able to do so. So I'll pop one of them into acquisition, maybe 2. And then from there, I can add in additional targets if I want as well. I also, for a skill acquisition, can add in different types of targets. So we have just plain DTT target types, which is the discrete trial ones. You can also do duration targets, rate targets, TAs, sets of targets, a shaping target, or just an instructions only target as well. And that's just going to show up and you won't be able to take data on it. It'll just be informational. So those are our examples of targets. The skill acquisition program type is the only one that allows you to have specific target types. You can change the program type to a completely different program type at this stage either. We don't recommend doing that if you've already taken data on a program. A couple other features is you can also import a list of targets from a Word document or something like that as well. And you can choose how you sort them and add in an SD for each target if you so choose. Next, we're going to go to the data recording tab. Now, this is where we're going to add a couple other really important building blocks. You can choose a mastering workflow here from the dropdown. When we select a mastering workflow, we can also customize it per that client. So we can go in and adjust those settings on the workflow. If I want to change any of these, for whatever reason, then I can go ahead and do that. And that will update and that little icon right here is going to show that this workflow has been adjusted for this client or for this specific program in this instance, since it's in the library. Next is the prompt level template, which is required. Workflow, that's optional. A workflow is going to allow you to automatically move your target statuses based on your mastering criteria, but your prompt level template is required. So in this situation, I'm just going to use a simple plus minus. I cannot edit my prompt level template on the program itself. It has to be updated here under programs, prompt levels. But I can preview it just to see what it looks like and go ahead and select it if I want. The other thing I can do is go ahead and set up how I want to view my graph. So if I want this to, show up for just previous 30 days, I can set that up, and that's going to be my default graph settings for this program. And that will be copied over to the client if I add this program to a client. Now, before I save my program, I can go ahead and preview how this is going to look when collecting data. So you can see I moved 2 targets here into acquisition. This is going to show me, based on the workflow that I set up, I have 2 minimum trials, and this is what the data collection itself will look like for the different targets that I have that are in acquisition. Final thing is I can add a cover photo to my program as well. I can search my photos here, and it'll just look at kind of stock photos through a little bank of pictures and choose a nice pretty one just to make it a little bit more visually appealing for the person that is going to be running that program. We'll call this program Tacting 3 because we have a number of other tacting programs. Once I've done that, I can go ahead and save my program. Now, we have lots of other videos on our knowledge base that cover all the different types of program types a little bit more in depth. This one is just going to be covering, all of the building blocks and the basics that go into a program. If you want to get into the nitty-gritty around the different program types in our system, go check those out on the knowledge base.